It's chapter 11, and by this point we have to ask ourselves, why is Kathy still friends with Ruth? Let's see if we can find out. Welcome to Chapter by Chapter. The simplest way to tell why Ruth and Kathy are still friends is to look at how easy it is for them to hurt one another. To an onlooker, the conversation about Kathy making some new friends with the veterans seems rather innocuous. But it's the source of Ruth's information that cuts Kathy to the bone. Listen to this. Anyway, the thing was, however much we might have fallen out during the day, come bedtime, Ruth and I would still find ourselves sitting side by side on my mattress, sipping our hot drinks, exchanging our deepest feelings about our new life like nothing had ever come between us. And what made these heart-to-hearts possible, you might even say what made the whole friendship possible during that time, was this understanding we had that anything we told each other during these moments would be treated with careful respect, that we'd honor confidences, and that no matter how much we rode, we wouldn't use against each other anything we'd talked about during those sessions. So when Ruth brings up something from those sessions, it's no surprise that later Kathy describes it as not just cross, but a betrayal. And just so we're clear, Ruth's comment about Kathy making friends is actually directed at Kathy having slept with some of the veterans. And it's in these descriptions of how sex was handled at the cottages that Ishiguro subtly drops some clues as to just how little whoever operates this place feels for the residents. Kathy describes sharing a bed with someone, trying to stay warm, with 3 blankets or more piled on top of her. At sometimes those blankets were old curtains or maybe even pieces of carpet. Clearly, Kathy, Tommy, and Ruth are a world away from Hailsham in more ways than one. But regardless of the conditions from the outside, Kathy's internal world is in turmoil. Rereading the chapter, I'm struck by just how low Ruth has stooped. She's taken a fear and insecurity Kathy confided in her and used it to wound her, covering up her own embarrassment. But whatever the reason Ruth had, it's clear that she has said a terrible thing. She's attacked Kathy on a personal level, but she hasn't just said it to Tommy or Chrissy, only Kathy. That's how close these two are. They have their own code of operation, forged through a tradition of talking at night that spans almost 15 years. With the absence of any family, in the last chapter they call each other out for not knowing anything about how normal families operate. Ruth and Kathy are the strongest support system in each other's lives, and the more someone cares about you, the easier it is for them to hurt you. And so this returns us to our opening question. Why is Kathy still friends with Ruth? Well, as Kathy reflects on these events later in life, she tells us about the 2 Ruths that were at the cottages. The show-off Ruth, who tries to deceive her way into popularity with the veterans, and the Ruth who sits up with her, talking about everything and anything. And while Kathy hates the former Ruth and loves the latter, she sees in retrospect that Ruth the show-off was maybe doing all this bragging and social climbing for them. For those from Hailsham, and that Kathy calling her out for the elbow touch was in its own way a betrayal of those conversations they had had. To better understand Ruth's relationship with the past, listen to her description of what happens to her collection box. That box of artwork and precious items they had got from exchanges and saved their entire lifetime at Hailsham. This is Ruth talking on page 130 in my book. Remember the Guardians? Before we left, how they kept reminding us we could take our collections with us. So I'd taken everything out of my box and put it into this hold-all bag. My plan was to find a really good wooden box for all of it once I got to the cottages. But when we got there, I could see none of the veterans had collections. It was only us. It wasn't normal. We must all have realized it. I wasn't the only one. But we didn't really talk about it, did we? So I didn't go looking for a new box. My things all stayed in the hold-all bag for months. Then in the end, I threw them away. I stared at her. You put your collection out with the rubbish? Ruth shook her head, and for the next few moments seemed to be going through in her mind all the different items in her collection. Finally, she said, I put them all in a bin bag, but I couldn't stand the idea of putting them out with the rubbish. So I asked old Kiefers once, when he was about to drive off, if he'd take the bin bag to a shop. I knew about charity shops. I'd found it all out. Kiefers rummaged in the bag a bit. He didn't know what any of it was. Why should he? And he did this laugh and said no shop he knew would want stuff like that. And I said, but it's good stuff, really good stuff. And he could see I was getting a bit emotional, and he changed his tune then. He said something like, all right, Missy, I'll take it all along to the Oxfam people. Then he made a real effort and said, oh, now I've had a closer look, you're right, it is pretty good stuff. He wasn't very convincing, though. I suppose he just took it away and put it in some bin somewhere. But at least I didn't have to know that. For Ruth to survive, she felt that she must let go of Hailsham. But for all her confidence, it clearly wasn't an easy thing to do. And of course, there is still half a chapter to go. The second half starts off with a series of Kathy's astute observations about life at the cottages. She notices that veterans will readily bring up stories of people they visited from far away, but hardly ever go into details about past members of the cottages who have left. Additionally, current veterans who leave to attend courses on being a carer are hardly mentioned while they're gone and never divulge details of where they were or what they were doing exactly. So clearly, people at the cottages avoid bringing up what happens next. But then Kathy shifts the narrative back to the present, specifically porn at the cottages. From these paragraphs, we learn two interesting story elements. First, Kiefers can barge into rooms and search for magazines in a rageful rampage, and that should be frightening, right? Like, no matter what your views are on pornography, you shouldn't have that happening to you. And second, Kathy has a habit of looking through these publications, but not for the reason you might think. In fact, when Tommy catches her, she tries to pass it off like she's looking through them for the typical reason that you might think. But Tommy knows Kathy too well. He can tell she's looking for something. But that's a mystery for a place where all the lost items go, Norfolk. And that's where we're going to head next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next chapter.